Aeon Flux. This is a MTV animated series that I had never seen before. I I think I'd seen this movie on TV, but I'm not really sure. Uh, but yeah, I'm diving into all of this show, the shorts, the movie, and the show. So let's start with Aeon Flux. Aeon Flux is a show that started as shorts on MTV about basically this character Aeon, who's in the future, and she has a she has a love slash rival, and they fight, and there's some interesting stuff going on there, and it's pretty interesting. It's a very unique show. It's an adult show, as you would expect from a show that aired on MTV, but this show was also very. Give me one moment. There. But this show is very beautifully animated. But basically, the shorts were so successful they turned it into a series, and the series is really. It has a very unique art style. It's it's got an interesting sci-fi world and characters that are super engaging. The stories and ideas and conflicts are super adult and interesting. There's a lot of themes of sexuality and other things within the show. Future viruses, weird stuff, but it's all super interesting, and it's a very short run of a show. But yeah, I mean, it's a great show. You could watch most of the show within just a few hours, like maybe 3 hours. It's a really short show, but it's a great show. I bought this DVD at Walmart. There is no Blu-ray. I have a feeling that eventually we will get a Blu-ray for this show because this is a show that kind of has a cult fan base, but we'll see if that ever happens. But as it stands right now, here's the DVD. It has a great cover to it and a great back to it. But you got disc 1 and disc 2, which just have all the episodes on them. And then you have a special features disc, which has the shorts and other things like that. And it's a great package for $13. Now let's get into the movie. So the show was so successful that in the early 2000s, they made a movie called Aeon Flux, of the same name as the show, of course. And this movie is so bad that it got the title Aeon Sucks, and that's basically what it's known as nowadays. This movie is so bad that it's erased the history of the original show. Like, this show was so popular that it got turned into this movie, but after this movie came out, the fan base died for this thing. Like, no one talks about this show anymore because of this shitty movie. I mean, it is so bad. This is a movie that is not understandable to someone who has watched the show and not watched the show. It makes absolutely no sense. There's no reason for it to be like that. It's not like Aeon Flux is a very complicated series at all, but yet they made this movie very complicated. It's very weird. The special effects are dated. The soundtrack is dated. The whole movie is dated. It was dated from the moment it came out. This is a piece of shit movie, but it's a very weird franchise. And I gotta say, I really enjoyed watching the show. I think it's one of the greatest American animated series of all time. This movie was interesting, I guess, but it was a really weird experience. But I definitely recommend everyone check out the show and forget about this shitty movie unless you want to be like me and be a completionist who watched everything.